Today on Top Shops, I'm at Firestone's Farm Tire Test Center in Columbiana, Ohio, talking to Tom Rodgers with Firestone. And we're talking about tire performance. Previous episodes of Successful Farming, we've talked about tire ballasting, weighting, tire inflation. And for those segments, our viewers can go to agriculture.com/TV to view those. But Tom, a lot has changed with farm tires, particularly on this creature right here, the tractor. Because back in the day when I first started writing stories about farm tire usage and selection, it was the bias ply. And then we went to that change to the big R, the radial tire. And now things have even changed on the nomenclature on the side of the tire and also the design of the tire. So talk to me a little bit about what's happened to the farm tractor tire.
So, and you're right, in the 30 years you talked about and over the last few decades, things have gotten a lot bigger, firstly, right? So
oh, yeah, 500 horsepower tractors.
Our capacities of combines and things like that have all grown. Every time something grows, we need a bigger tire to carry that load and effectively carry the load. So the complexity of the ag business in that regard, as well as specialized applications, you know, self-propelled sprayers 30 years ago didn't really exist. So we have narrow tires for that. We have row crop tires for tractors. We have big wide tires for carts and combines. So that complexity and that offering of all these applications has really grown the tire side of our business.
Boy, in one area that we've seen that a lot of engineering going to tires certainly has been on the tractor tire, because we've gotten into the new generation of radials, which are IF and VF tires. And remind me again, what's the difference between those two?
So you're right, and you referenced bias originally, then we went to radials. The next step has been this IF and VF technology, which is industry standards established by Tire and Rim. And IF basically means if you have a like size and you have an IF version of it, the IF version will carry 20% more load at the same inflation pressure as that standard radial. Take it one step further, VF will carry 40% more load than the same standard tire at the same pressure. So you're getting a lot greater capacity, but the tire's deflecting and squatting more because you're not adjusting the pressure and raising it.
Yeah.
So
right, and your dealer's not just trying to upsell you. What he's saying, for the performance you want out of your tractor, you may want to go to a VF.
Exactly. So it gives you a bigger footprint, gives you better traction, gives you a better ability to carry that load and not have as much compaction. And at the same time, so we've had to design that tire basically to run at a greater deflection than a standard radial or the bias previous.
So how do you do that with this creature here? I mean, what did you do to this thing to try to get it to run with 40% more capacity, like with the VF tire?
Right. So, and a lot of it is the interior design of what we do in the body of the tire, but we're really adding components and changing the way the tire is constructed, again, to carry it at a greater squat or a greater deflection. And that always is something that kind of startles people when you see that squat that the tire has. But in essence, what we've designed is for it to run in that position.
Now, the complexity of tire selection, as well as how you go about ballasting the tractor, how you go about inflating the tractor, it really has gotten to be very specific to usage of like the tractor and then also the tractor itself. We've covered that in previous segments before, but is there a site where they can get more information about that aspect of things?
Right, so you can go to our website, firestoneag.com. That'd be a great resource to learn more about tire capacities, tire sizes, dimensions, what the load and inflation tables are, the differences between IF and VF, and there's a technology tab there as well where you can find some of this information out, especially about new offerings.
And when in doubt, go to your tire dealer because he'll help you.
Absolutely, even a better resource, your tire dealer, and he's experienced especially in the way things are in a given geography, and he knows all of what we're talking about here.
Well, there's other aspects to tires too that really is stymieing farmers, is stubble damage. And that's been plaguing guys for a while since we got into the GMO. We've beefed up these plants, especially soybeans. We've created bayonets in the field as we've taken corn off. with the green stem that it has, or the greener stalk. What are we going to do about tire damage?
So it is a challenge, and it's a challenge for the tire industry, and no question, because as you mentioned, these GMO crops have this standability that we wanted.
Yeah.
The standability still exists even after harvest, and the problem is we use a durometer to measure hardness, and if you take the durometer of a corn stalk versus the durometer of the rubber on our tire, the tire is softer than the corn stalk.
Now, Firestone was instrumental over a decade ago, working to create a thing called a Stubble Stomper. But is that still in usage? Is that something you want to do, or is there other things that you can utilize?
So, absolutely, yeah. And we continue today, our compounders and our folks at our Akron Tech Center, we're continuing to work on harder compounds and more durable compounds. And it's a trade-off, though. We talked a lot about how we want this tire to flex and squat and move. The harder you make the rubber, the less it wants to do that. So there's a trade-off. So we understand that. We're doing a lot of things to make it and continue to improve how it reacts against stubble. But the other is, and we teach our dealers and we train farmers, is just avoiding it. Don't drive right down the row. Have a mechanism on your combine, stubble stompers that push the stalk over. So it's definitely proven that a rigid corn stalk or rigid soybean stalk versus one that's just been broken over is much more likely to damage a tire. So if we can break it over, we start to really minimize the longer term effect on the tire.
I've got to ask about the location that we're at. This is the Farm Tire Test Center. It's the only farm tire test center in the country?
It is, and it's one of our pride and joys in the Firestone Ag family, that's for sure.
So what do you do to tires out here? you kind of beat the hell out of them.
We try to destroy them, and we push them to the limits, maybe is the best way to put it, or beyond the limits, and I think it tells us how long it'll last. Does it reach what we feel like's a lifetime validation? And before any tire ever makes it to a farm of a farmer or a customer, it's been to our farm here, and we've run it through that gauntlet to make sure it's going to survive.
Yeah, because you have all these buildings with their torture chambers, and then tethered tractors run around the concrete. But what's really fun about this site, it's Harvey Firestone's original farm.
Exactly. Harvey Firestone was from Columbiana. So this is part of his original farmstead. The land that we work and we do our testing on, and we do traction testing in his original fields. So there's a lot of history. One of our buildings here, an old hay barn, is the oldest physical structure in Bridgestone Corporation, built in 1840.
Wow.
Today it's our conference room and a museum, which actually houses one of Harvey Firestone's restored tractors. So the place just oozes history.
So if I want to take a tour of that, how would I do that?
So we do, and we have training here. We do a lot of tours with our dealers and original equipment folks. Probably the best way is to contact your local tire dealer, have him get a hold of his area rep, and we could probably go through that process.
Tom, thanks for that information. Also to explain how you can get a tour of this historic site. I'll see you again on another Top Shop Tour. Hi, I'm Dave Mowitz. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, hit subscribe right here if you haven't already, and click that little bell right here to be notified when we post a new video. And click here to see more great videos.